Let's see. Let's look at Bernie ripping the oligarchy, but back in the duopoly. Really doesn't work.
We were just talking about the news, that shocking news, that Jerry Connolly is going to be stepping down after 4 months, really 3.5, really 3 months and like a quarter from his position of
There's that Democratic Party for you.
ranking member of
Working for the
the
people.
Oversight Committee. He's not the chair. The chair is, of course, by the Republicans. And how we were talking about AOC, she ran for this position 4 months ago, was beat by Connolly 131 to 84 votes.
Pretty soundly.
It should be, if she still wants that position, it should be a slam dunk for the Democratic leadership to essentially nominate her through the steering committee.
Really?
You have to remember that A, she has the best mechanism to which to communicate to people what's going on with the Trump administration. There is no other Democrat who exists who has the ability to communicate more than AOC. That's just simply the fact.
I mean, you could argue Bernie, but he's in the Senate. In the House,
But he's also not a Democrat.
the gap is like,
Why would you say she's the best Democrat that can communicate, and then you bring up Bernie Sanders, who's independent? Yes, he caucuses with the Democrats, and yes, he sheep herds for the Democrats, but he calls himself an independent for a reason. But I guess since he sheep herds for the Democrats, I guess, I understand, but still, he's not a Democrat.
I mean, it's enormous.
It's not, I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah.
And if you're in
But she communicates a somewhat left-wing message. The Democrats don't want that. If she communicated her liberal message very well and kept to the mama bear stuff, yeah, they let her be in. But she kind of talks a little anti-oligarchy, anti-capitalist, anti-right-wing, anti-liberalism message, but she just does that to bring us in, right? To try to bring the left in so that she can sheep herd, right? Make the Democratic Party bigger. But they're not going to put her in any leadership positions.
interest is taking back the House in
But
2026.
to do what?
The idea that the best communicator the Democrats have for Democrats is AOC. There's just no,
Well, she's the best communicator, not necessarily for Democrats, because it depends on what Democrats you're talking about. If you're talking about the Democratic base, like the voters, yeah, maybe. But if you're talking about the Democratic establishment, the people in the party who run the party, no, not at all. She's not communicating what they want to communicate at all.
I mean, I can read off the other people on the oversight committee, and I guarantee you, the number of people on that list who are known, there's just nobody who's even knows these names in the way that people know AOC. Never mind her ability to reach people. It's just a slam dunk. So we will see based on that. You can already see the pushback from AOC and Bernie on their anti-oligarchy tour. It's coming from all sorts of corners. Stefanik, did I say it right? Mm-hmm. Coming out, nobody knows what oligarchy means. We should be saying kings. You don't say that.
Kings, oligarchy, monarchy, fascism, imperialism, capitalism, all the same things. They're all the same. It doesn't matter. The few run the many. That's why they do this. They use all these different words to make it hard to communicate.
If you think that the message is not getting out, why would you have to? Like, why would you have to make the argument that why would you have to make the argument that in some way AOC is not being effective? Like, AOC responded to this. We should just pop this up. This is number 7.
she sent, speaking of communication, she apparently sent this out to her huge fundraising list in response to Stefanik. a vast majority of
Her huge fundraising list that she doesn't do much for the community for. Lots of ads, lots of passing out to other Democrats. But is she building up schools? Is she building up neighborhoods? Is she building up people? Not that I've seen.
voters can already correctly identify the definition of the word oligarchy. But for those who seem to have trouble with it, here's a sticker to help you remember. So she's selling stickers now that say oligarchy, a government where power.
So, a government where power is concentrated in the hands of the wealthy elite. Wouldn't that be exactly what America started out as, the United States? A government where the power is concentrated in the hands of the wealthy elite. That the U.S. has always been an oligarchy. That is what capitalism is. It's when you concentrate power, money in the hands of a few to control the rest of society.
But for those who seem to have trouble with it, here's a sticker to help you remember. So she's selling stickers now that say oligarchy, a government where power is concentrated in the hands of the wealthy elite.
So that's like a monarchy, imperialism, all those same words mean the same thing. Fascism.
United States under Donald Trump 2025. Well done. And Stefanik started this round. This is not, you can't blame this on the left again. They were going on their anti-oligarchy tour. Stefanik.
It's not Stefanik, it's Slotkin. You were supposed to correct me on this. It's Slotkin. But Slotkin.
What's the difference? Suds party?
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Both kind of deep state plants almost. But like.
But if they're blue, vote for them. Vote blue no matter who. Do not forget that. That is the most important thing they want to get across here. These deep state blue people that tell you don't know what oligarchy is and all this stuff, make sure you vote for them when it comes time to vote.
Plants is too strong, but you know what I'm saying. But Slotkin, Jesus Christ.
No, it's supposed to go the other way. I'm not supposed to ruin your memory of this. You're supposed to help mine.
Okay, well, it's deteriorating. But either way, she came out and she was representing the corporate wing of the Democratic Party. She just got elected to the Senate. She's not up for another 6 years. So she stuck her neck out and was like, let's stop talking about the billionaires. Let's just focus on Donald Trump, the king, as a solo individual. It also disconnects him from the Republican Party if he's a king. So they're retreading this same old appeal to Republican suburbanites. That's what Slotkin represents. She took the shot to try to sap Bernie and AOC of this energy, and AOC responded, and now they're all still crying that she dared to respond to Slotkin.
And understand, if their tour was not effective, and their tour was not just effective with the hundreds of thousands of people who've come out to see it.
Their tour is very ineffective. It's only effective in that they're taking people who could do something and sheep herding them into the Democratic Party and really hurting the mainstay of people in the long run.
In largely red districts, incidentally. But if their tour was not effective in giving some direction to the Democratic Party, you would not hear from Slotkin. Here's Bernie responding.
Because it's a phrase that doesn't resonate with all Americans. Are you missing a chance to speak to a wider audience, Senator?
Well, geez, we had 36,000 people out in Los Angeles, 34,000 people in Colorado. We had 30,000 people in Folsom, California.
Imagine if he was doing this for a party that was for the people instead of a corporate party that's not going to do anything for anybody. Such a waste.
Which is kind of a rural area. I think the American people are not quite as dumb as Ms. Slotkin thinks they are. I think they understand very well. When the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 90%, when big money interests are able to control both political parties, they are living in an out.
So he's saying when they control both big money controls both political parties, yet he's going to keep you in the duopoly, in the oligarchy.
As Ms. Slotkin thinks they are. I think they understand very well. When the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 90%, when big money interests are able to control both political parties, they are living in an oligarchy. And
so the number one phrase or the number one saying should be, you can't fight the oligarchy without beating the duopoly, or beat the oligarchy without fighting the duopoly, one of the two. You can't do this within the oligarchy. He just said that. the Democrats are part of the oligarchy. Jeez, man, like this is crazy.
I just love the framing. You're the only one who's drawing any crowds. You're the only one going out there. Do you think that you're doing this wrong?
People are drawn out of confusion. Like, what are you saying? Oh, good.
I thought it was a garlicky festival. It's my favorite.
Olive garlic?
But you know that this is effective. That is why even like this guy,
Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful. And I saw some clip. I don't know where it was. He was wearing a bathrobe. He was in some type of like boxing ring. He was clearly not going to box. I don't know what that was. But this, he's on.
He plays a capitalist on TV.
He's on CNN, Mr. Wonderful, and attempting to revive the whole thing that AOC. Remember, this is what Trump did his first term. They should go back to where they live. I don't know if people remember this about the squad.
Yep.
This is the theme they're going to try and revive again. This is what they tried with Obama, just because they saw Obama as a threat. This is what they do with people who are not lily white.
You know, the ambassador of America, the CEO, the president, they have to embody the American dream. That's their number one job. Our number one export is not technology or energy. It's the American dream. People come to America.
Pause it for a second. I just want to make something clear, and we'll go back. A couple of things. Donald Trump fulfilled the American dream of being a multi-millionaire when he was born, and then just letting that money accrue. I will also add that this dude's from Canada. He's Canadian.
He has 3 citizenships and none of them
51st
are
state,
American.
yo.
Well, that is the American dream.
Come here to okay.
Well, yeah, more foreigners get to live the American dream than Americans. They don't care about us. They like to bring in the smarter ones that get educated in other places because they don't educate us here.
On TV in America, taking American jobs.
Playing a
Ironically-
capitalist. He's an actor capitalist. He plays one on TV.
Ironically, if he were to be coming here and immigrating to the United States, because this was the best opportunity for him to play a fake capitalist or play a capitalist on television as a part, that would be the American dream.
Why is he not buying the $5 million gold ticket? Cheap. Son. All right, go ahead.
It's Senator Kirsten Gillibrand.
Cheap. Son. All right, go ahead.
Have to embody the American dream. That's their number one job. Our number one export is not technology or energy. It's the American dream. People come to America to achieve the American dream. She embodies the American nightmare. So she could never, ever, because she doesn't believe people should succeed in wealth. And this is a huge problem for her.
What does it even mean?
That the only success is not in wealth. I mean, she came from very modest backgrounds. She was a waitress. I mean, I think that story, a lot of people would say that is the American dream. I think that is.
I thought AOC came from money.
Capitalism.
No, well, I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying is like, what if she's a democratic socialist, but that's that. But what if some Americans say the most important thing is not facilitating the rich getting richer? And that is literally the message she's running on.
You just tainted the American dream with that statement. You understand that? You tainted what makes America work. Take that back.
What makes America work? The rich running us. John Galton, this mother.
Don't ever say that again.
All I am suggesting, Kevin, is that there are many Americans who work really hard and their aspiration is not to become super.
Okay. First off, the proper response that Abby Phillips gives in that is, get the F out of here.
Yeah, point to the door.
Go away, you effing idiot.
Well,
but aside from this foreigner coming in and telling us what we should be doing in America and what the American dream is, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our latest feature entitled Matt Gives Us Some Literary History from a guy with a master's degree in literature. Well, actually, technically media studies, but never mind.
Yeah, media, culture, communication. Which literature is part? The guy
what's this
name
little war
is
you guys have going on here?
James Truslow Adams. First coined the term American Dream in 1931. Part of his book, The Epic of America, and he described it, quote, not a dream of motor cars and high wages merely, but a dream of a social order in which each man and each woman, this is 1931, shall be able to attain to the fullest stature of which they are innately capable and be recognized by others for what they are, regardless of the fortuitous circumstances of birth or position.
Oh, wow.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is the actual American dream, not the one that this Canadian citizen of 3 other countries that he's bought his citizenship for actually believes it is.
So we're going to have to, and I think one of those is, I think there's the birth of parents or whatever, but no, again, none of those is American. I just think it's really gross that CNN like continues to have this guy on. He was in there earlier a few months ago saying, you know what, you got to move fast and break things and just slash stuff. He was supporting Doge. He has no, let's talk about skin in the game. He has no skin in the game with regards to our government.
All right, so I'm gonna leave this here. I actually got to go to work, but yeah, they're gonna talk about this oligarchy tour, talk about, and then tell you to go to the Democrats. Like it's BS. Bernie Sanders, AOC, they're just over here sheepdogging us, trying to keep the oligarchy alive. Really, he's gonna tell you. He said that both parties are controlled by the elite, by the 1%, right? And then he's gonna tell you to go to one of those 2 parties, Bernie Sanders. Like, how in the world does that make any sense? But just keep coming back to Across the Spectrum.